How are you, UMass Lowell? Coming to you from the Office of Student Activities and Leadership, this is Graham Allen with How to Write a Better Nomination. With the Annual Leadership Banquet coming up just around the corner, we want you to have all of the tools that you need to write the best nomination for individuals and for groups coming up this year. One of the first things to note is that there are awards for many different categories for both groups and individuals. In addition to the awards like Student Organization of the Year and Student Leader of the Year, there are also very specified awards for specific areas within those group awards and in individual awards. One area we want to highlight is the Excellence in Student Advocacy Award, which is a brand new award this year. Make sure that when you hop on Collegiate Link, you check out the description of that particular award. Some basic tips and tricks for getting started. Personal, descriptive, and detailed. When you write a nomination, it's important that the stuff that you're writing is specific to a person. If it's generic statements that can be said about anybody, make sure that you hone it in and get to a level where those people are being specifically highlighted for things that are unique to them. We'll go through some specific examples a little later on when we take a look at the templates online, but we will make sure that we go through how to make sure that the timelines and scope as well as the impact of people's activities are highlighted. Think about the why when you're writing these applications. For individuals, why did you choose to nominate this person? Why are they different from other nominees? And for groups and programs, what was the reasoning for the program and what's the connection to the university mission? The why is always going to be one of the most important connections that you can make for nominations. If you can show why someone is deserving, the committee will be much more likely to select that person than somebody who just has a lot of achievement. Common mistakes. Make sure that you are specific. If it can be about anybody, if it's vague, they'll have a less likely chance of winning. Poor grammar and spelling, someone has to review it for you, just because we want it to be at that level where we can see that that person is deserving without having to stumble over any mistakes in grammar or spelling. Make sure you answer the question asked. If you're not answering the question directly, or if you're taking a long time to get to your point, that can be difficult for a reader. Make sure that by being direct, you're addressing everything that is needed off the bat. And make sure that all of the fields that you need to fill out are filled. This may seem like a no-brainer, but just double and triple check to make sure that everything you need is in that application. A couple of quick tips. Take a time to think about the message you want to share. Tell a story in your applications. It's very easy to write about, here's a list of great achievements from this person or this organization. Make sure that you tell a little bit of the narrative about how person got from point A to point B. Again, make sure that you carefully read those questions and be specific and detailed, but concise. Again, you'll have about 150 words per field, so make sure that you can go through those and make your point in a very specific, concise way. Make sure that you have someone proofread your work and try to submit on time. It's due on April 2nd at 11 p.m., so make sure that those get in. And if you need help, make sure that you come to John Romano's workshop in the Club Hub at noon on March 24th. You'll be able to have some pizza and be able to learn how to honor your friends and peers. With that said, let's hop over to Collegiate Link and take a look at what we got. So here we have popped already over to the 2016-2017 Student Leadership Awards nomination form, and we've already selected the Student Leader of the Year award. Let's take a look at some of these fields and see how we can make them better. List the nominees' co-curricular involvement at UMass Lowell. Okay, well, Jane Smith was the president of SWE, she was the secretary of HASA, and she was an SGA senator. What can make this more specific? I would specifically say member from 2012 to 2014, president from 2014 to present. And go through all of these and get that level of specificity in. Detail the nominee's leadership qualities. Provide specific examples of these qualities in action. Jane is smart, charismatic, and driven. She uses these skills in general meetings, at special events, and when working with university professionals. At annual events, Jane uses her skills to make the event successful. This is extremely, extremely vague. Let's try and hone it in a little bit more. Well, we say that Jane is smart, charismatic, and driven. How can we incorporate those into an example? Okay. Jane is a creative problem solver who takes initiative even when things go wrong. She holds herself to the highest standard, whether it be a general meeting or a special event, often garnering praise from all parties in attendance. At an alumni event last fall, she single-handedly made sure that all alumni needs were met before the event took place, and was able to field problems with the setup of the event as they happened. Honing into a level of specificity at the end definitely makes Jane a more worthy candidate, just because she's going to be able to get to that level much more quickly. Moving on. Describe specific examples of the nominee demonstrating skills in problem solving, risk-taking, and accomplishing goals. In 2014, Jane made sure that SWE was registered on Collegiate Link. She went on to lead the group as president until today. She demonstrated problem solving by taking the club into her own hands when no one else would. The risk she took made sure that the club stayed around. Under her leadership, SWE has raised over $4,000 in fundraising and has put on events on all 3 campuses at the university. This is good, but it feels a little out of context. So in 2014, SWE was not re-registered as an organization as July rolled around. Jane stepped up and made sure that SWE was registered on Collegiate Link and participated in the necessary training. Instead of she went on to lead the group as president, she ran unopposed as president of SWE and has held the position to date. By taking the club into her own hands when she was only a sophomore, she shattered the status quo of upperclassmen leading the organization and ushered in a new era of young leaders. The risk she took made sure that the club stayed around. That's valid. Under her leadership, SWE has fundraised over $4,000 from bake sales, benefit events, and alumni advocacy donations. And SWE holds weekly events all over the campus community, ranging from general meetings to speaker series. Again, this is only an example, but this is more likely to garner application success than what we had before. What impact has the nominee had at UMass Lowell? Jane is a ray of sunshine who makes people's smile all day long. She carries herself with grace and poise even when crisis strikes. She is a good leader and delegator when times get tough. Again, all of these are great things to say, but let's specifically talk about the impact on the community. Jane is a ray of sunshine who makes people smile all day long. When faced with adversity, she encourages her club members, her friends, and even her professors to think positive and be the change they want to see in the world. She carries herself with grace and poise even when crisis strikes. When things go wrong, people around Jane do not flinch from the challenge. They rise to it with her at the forefront. And instead of she's a good leader and delegator when times get tough, she has inspired new leaders in the organizations she participates in to take up the mantle of strong leadership and spread it to organizations like Acapella, Concrete Canoe, and Riverhawk Racing. Cool. Please provide any information that would be helpful for the selection committee. Jane has been a personal inspiration for me and helped me grow as a leader. Thank you. This is fine. If you feel that there's something else that you want to include, you can always thank the committee for taking the time to read the application. You should make sure that if they have any special achievements or have faced any adversity themselves, that that's mentioned. But this is a much better nomination than it was when we started. Moving on, if you selected any other applications, you would just hit next on this form and it would take you to the next nomination. Let's also take a look at a Student Organization of the Year award. Again, this is just an example, but let's fill out an example for Parents Club. Describe how the nominated organization's programs and initiatives support its mission. This club focuses on helping students from all walks of life have access to the service they need. They are resourceful, creative, and welcoming to everyone. This is totally fine, again, but let's see if we can hone in and get a little bit more specific. This club focuses on helping students from all walks of life have access to services they need. Parents who are also college students are an underrepresented population at UMass Lowell, and ensuring that they have the resources they need to be successful, as well as a built-in support system of like-minded peers, makes Parents Club an invaluable resource to the campus community. They welcome everyone to their organization to spread advocacy as well as the service and awareness. Cool. Demonstrate the organization's commitment to responding to the needs of student and the needs of the UMass Lowell community as a whole. Parents Club acts as an advocate for underrepresented population on campus. With the needs of more student groups being met, the culture of the campus is more accepting and positive. Sorry for the flub there. Once again, this is a good statement, but is there any way that we can make this more specific to talking about the needs of the student and the needs of the UMass Lowell community as a whole? So let's talk about something that Parents Club members might need: childcare. Parents Club creates and maintains a network of student parents who are able to not only engage in programming and advocacy efforts, but also a network, but also engage with a network of support structures. Let me make sure that sentence is good. Parents Club creates and maintains a network of student parents who are able to not only engage in programming and advocacy efforts, but engage with a network of support structures. Also engage with a network. Parents Club creates and maintains a network of student parents who are not only able to engage in programming and advocacy efforts, but also engage with a network of support structures. By the way, part of the reason why I'm not cutting any of this out is just to make sure that you guys can see writing a good nomination takes time. Don't hesitate if you're realizing that you're taking time to make sure that one of these nominations goes through. We want to make sure that all of the nominations are at the highest caliber possible, so make sure that when you sit down to do it, you have some kind of time frame in mind, but that you're also willing to step aside and come back to an application. These forms save automatically when you get through. It will require you to fill a little bit out in all of the fields, just as I did when I was accessing this form. So make sure that when you are taking that time, you also save your work by filling out those pages and then going to the end of the form and re-accessing it. Back to this sentence. So we now are talking about support structures. Parents Club members inherently know a group of people with similar situations and similar needs that they can talk to about their own situations and needs. There is access to childcare, parent-child bonding opportunities, and even advocacy resources for when this is as real as it gets, folks, and even advocacy resources for when balancing academics and family life gets tough. By providing these resources to the community and shedding light on the experience, always spell check, folks. Student groups become more accepting, students become more accepting of all other students, and the campus community becomes a more understanding, open environment. compared to what we have earlier. Again, more specific, but it also specifically draws the correlation between a network of support structures and creating a difference in campus culture. Detail any events, programs, or services the organization has sponsored or co-sponsored, little typo here on the form, which have improved the quality of life, educational, social, recreational, or cultural at UMass Lowell. Parents Club co-sponsored Safe Trick or Treat, which got the community kids into the residence halls to engage in fun, Halloween-themed activities with college students. This helps improve community relations and student engagement. Okay. This last sentence doesn't really touch the impact that this event has, so let's make it more specific. The campus rallies together to create a day of entertainment for kids in the Lowell area to come and engage in an experience that some may not safely be able to engage in otherwise. It gives college students the opportunity to volunteer time and service to the community, creating a more engaged, active involvement and investment in the city. Much better. Comment on why you believe this organization has had an outstanding impact on campus this year. Parents Club has shown that they care about underrepresented groups and have worked to engage the UMass Lowell community in positive ways that help make the campus better. This is maybe the most generic statement that I made in this example application. When talking about impact, think about specifically, was a group's experience changed or affected in some kind of way? Was the culture of the campus shifted in some sort of way? Were people talking about it in social media? Did it get covered by news outlets? So let's talk about, again, this is an example event. Let's talk about an example feature in the Lowell Sun. Parents Club has been so active both on and off campus this year that they were featured in the Lowell Sun. The publicity garnered by the organization did not only bring light to the needs of UMass Lowell student parents, parent students, but also to parent students at educational institutions throughout the Merrimack Valley. The campus has been praised resultantly as family-friendly and accommodating to a T. Again, always spell check. Creating a sense of university pride and engagement. Take out engagement. I've been throwing that word around too much. There we go. That's a much more specific impact. How does this organization positively reflect the mission and vision of UMass Lowell? If you're interested in finding the specific mission and vision of UMass Lowell, you can search it on the website, uml.edu. You'll be able to search the mission and the core values of the university. According to that, I did this kind of basic answer at first. Part of UMass Lowell's mission is to make sure high-quality education is accessible to everyone. Parents Club plays a key role in bringing accessibility to students who may otherwise not have those services. I'm noticing how bad grammatically that is, as well as how much it doesn't actually answer the question. This first part can absolutely stay, because part of UMass Lowell's mission is to bring high-quality education to everybody with accessibility, specifically in regards to cost and also in regards to people's needs. So let's talk about that. With the stigma of coming back to school to get a degree or finishing a degree that was started before starting a family, having such negative cultural bias, Parents Club sets the bar high at UMass Lowell for increasing the accessibility to services and resources that help break the stigma of being a parent and a student at the same time. This organization has gone above and beyond to act as advocates for people who are sometimes overlooked by people thinking of the traditional student model. Parents Club reminds us that education is accessible to everyone, especially those who are supporting others along the way. Alright folks, so hopefully this tutorial was helpful for you. Once you are done with all of your applications, again, you'll be able to click through those next tabs, and then you will be able to confirm that the form is all set to go. When you're all set, you'll be able to submit for approval or delete your submission. I highly recommend, if you take the time to fill these out, make sure that you submit for approval. Double, triple check, make sure that you have someone proofread before you do your final submission. But that being said, my name is Graham Allen. This has been how to make your recommendation and nomination letter better. Talk to you soon. Happy writing.